Okay, elevator. Got the hinges. So I've hung it up on the leading edge on a dowel. So my plan is, that's just got to swing vertical, I reckon. Hang vertical. Because of the way these hinges, yeah, they can roll, but with gravity, I reckon those fall. So if I give it a wobble, then they all have to hang at the 6 o'clock position is what I'm hoping, and then I'll drill them. Well, I'm not hoping, I'm pretty sure. Use my balsa just to even up the wing, the tip of the tailplane and the elevator. I know I get things confused, guys, but you know what I mean. Sometimes I might say rudder instead of fin, or aileron instead of rudder. I'm sure you can work it out. Yeah, so I might drill those now. That's obviously held it's just supported at the top. So it has to be vertical, doesn't it? Second guessing myself, but pretty sure that's how we'll go. All right, another tricky job and done well. Got the clecos in, and my hinge is now still nice and floppy, and in my books that has to be on centre. So we'll pull that out and rivet it now. All right, did the rudder the same way. Got the hinges on with the big rivets. 4 rivets there, so 8 rivets, 2 hinges, 1 each side, full and free, and we're nice and straight. Point to note, I'm out of rivets. Well, I've got 4 hinges on the elevator and only 6 big rivets. I'll have to raid another pack. Right, still going at the tailplane and elevator. Got it all hinged. Beautiful. I've got the tailplane blocked down so I can't move. This represents rear fuselage with my spacing. So I've got, this will be my fin post and should clear. And now I'm just making up these tubes and the horizontal, which will grab hold of the fin. That's how we're going at the moment. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, another 8 gussets. 10, 12 gussets. I'm also very seriously considering, I'll show you with a straight edge. If that's the covering, touches there, and it's about 1/4 inch off there. Having not covered anything before, other than my practice piece, I don't want to, I just know from the model aeroplanes, which I've covered a lot of, you want that to be touching. You don't have to force, it's glued on here and riveted and then taut. You don't have to force the fabric down onto the rib. So I'm thinking, call me crazy, I think I'm going to take this rib out and make it a 3/4 tube with gussets, the same as this, same as that. Take this one out. So I've got 3/4, 3/4, and then that's like, well, this is 1 inch and 3/4 at the front, and that's proud, so that's like maybe an inch with an 1/8 each side, so 1.25 inches. So it's definitely higher, and then it comes back down, don't forget, to 3/4. So I'm going to have a slight woof in it. Same as these, this is inch down to 1/4, so, sorry, an inch down to 3/4. I'm overthinking it a bit, I know, so that's 1/4 inch difference, so 1/8 of an inch each side, and that'll bolt down. But I guess the covering, especially with the tang, just pull the covering down. I'm just trying to do the best I can with what I've got, and that's my thoughts so far. So in an effort to do something different, I pulled out the tail wheel thinking, oh yeah, 4 bolts, we'll bolt that on and it'll be all smick, similar to an ARF, like I'm almost ready to fly RC aeroplane. There's some obvious issues with this. So got the wheel, it's all nice. It looks like just like a metric type bolt in there. and on the back just a standard nut, not in safe, no locking medium on there, and the same this end. There's no, well, that one's, at least that one's in safe. We've got 2 threads and no locking medium. So, you know, guys, I'm just calling it as it is. It looks like a duck, sounds like a duck. It normally is a duck. So, those parts are ducks, I guess. Okay, aircraft spruce, my first order. I ordered this last Monday, I think. And I got here the following Monday, so a week from the States. There is aircraft spruce in Australia, but I refuse to use them. So I've got Florian Pinker shears here for cutting the fabric, which are pretty cool. Florian.com, what is it? Florianpinker.com. Probably shouldn't look there because they might be cheaper going direct, but anyway, they're from Aircraft Spruce. I just bought a couple of rolls to start with of the anti-chafe tape. There's 2 rolls there, so that'll go over all the rivets, etc., but prior to covering instead of masking tape. This is not cheap, but that's my my buffer wheel that I do all my buffing on. So a Scotch-Brite 3M Scotch-Brite wheel. Yeah. And what else did I get? Oh, I bought my little turnbuckles and some more crimps because I'll probably get a few wrong. Some crimps. I've got these little turnbuckles for the Tailplane. They're rated at 800 pound, and having got them, it's only like a, I don't know, a 6/32 thread. They seem fairly small, so I'm not. The size is nice for the tailplane to rudder, just to give me some adjustment, but I'm just not sure on the what is it, the shear or the tensile strength. But anyway, we'll find out, and that's what's in there. Right, horizontal stab, is it finished? Got it all riveted up and everything. Do you know what I'm going to change? I'm going to change out these sheet metal ones, these sheet metal ribs, just because they're higher. I think I explained that before. So I'm going to de-rivet, put a tube in, 1, 2, 3, another 3 gussets, so it'll look like this. Then it's all the same playing field right the way through. Except at the moment I've got tube, 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 tube with sheet metal and sheet metal, and they're just too high. So let's rip it apart and do it properly. A few minutes work, well, a few hours, and I'll put the took the sheet metal strut out, made them the same. They're all full and free still, so happy days. Got the stabbing elevator, fin and rudder, looking good. Let's move on. Just got the saw those there, the control horns. Covered that before. I was going to get the angle that they need to go into for the, so they run parallel with the cable off to the fuselage, and a cross member goes in there once the fin's on to determine where that cross member goes. Got the tangs here for the elevator, or sorry, the horizontal tailplane. The bolts, still got to make up the stays once the fuselage comes back. And I've just got the castellated nuts. I've painted them orange, just because I can put the castellated nut on, do it up finger tight, job done. Don't need spanners and that sort of thing. And then it's all going to come apart anyway to cover it. So painted them orange just so when someone does the inspection, yeah, I know it's not the right nut. It's just for preliminary assembly. So with the tangs on the tailplane, does a couple of things. Like I said, I've got the orange nut on the back. It counts for the hardware, so the hardware, that bolt goes there. Obviously on the bottom there's going to be, well, these are the struts. that was the bottom. They come down to the tail wheel pretty much, or the bottom of the fuselage. They'll mount on the bottom of these. Got the top's clearly marked on the tail. I'm all over the shop here, guys. But also little things, because these rivets are just drilled willy-nilly. Well, I've spaced them evenly, but I'd probably grind this particular tang. Then that way it becomes unique to this spot, just to give that rivet some clearance, take into account the fabric's going to be over the top of it as well. And also there's a couple that the hole's not quite centre, but then I can, if I grind one side, boom, the hole's back on centre. Just notice with this one, probably a little bit close to the rivets, so it's got a date with the grinder. Also I'll run, when the time comes, I'll run some bricky string just to get the angle of the dangle right. I just guessed at the moment and bent those up on each side, so they'll stay there and they're accounted for. Move on. So just pulling out the undercarriage parts, identifying everything. I need the fuselage obviously before I can build this to get that distance at the top. Just going through looking at what goes where, and you know, you can't just write AN on a bolt that's silver and shiny. Like, that's just a hardware bolt, I'm pretty sure. That'll go through there, the main pivot for the undercarriage of the suspension. So I'm going to have to order an AN5 64A, I'd say, because you can't just put a sticker on something and call it what you want. Anyway, it might be right, but I don't think so. So I just pulled out the undercarriage, having a bit of a crack at that, something different. With that funny silver AN bolt in the middle. Change that. I've drilled these out. Little faux pas. I realised I wanted to get those tight. They're already bent and pilot drilled. Firstly, I trusted the pilot drills, which don't do that because you end up, there's a crooked bolt there. I should have straightened the mount up first. Got the ends nice and square, but then I realised the strut actually will be tilted in. So these need some clearance so they can roll up a bit more, to suit the strut. Probably should have bolted those to the strut first, but no direction. So anyway, that's what we've got at the moment, and we'll work with that. I'm still unsure as to what actually stops the Teflon moving in and out. So the wheel will sit against the Teflon rides up and down in a slot. We'll get to all this later. And the bungee cord wraps around this. There's nothing to stop it just sliding inboard. But anyway, I've just been out for a fly in the cruiser, cruising around. Did a few simulated Sopwith Camel landings. Might leave it there, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. We'll start the undercarriage, pick up the fuselage, and I want to mount, like I said at the start, I don't have jobs left half done everywhere. So I want to finish the empennage, which will be the guy wires, fit it to the fuselage, and the stays on the underside, or the struts on the underside of the tailplane. So thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.